So the last course we put up was on the concept of layering, and that's an important topic, and it's one that many people want to learn about. But there's something even more important and fundamental than that, and that is understanding structure, understanding arrangement, and using them both effectively. So before we can learn about structure and arrangement, we need to know what they are and why they're important. And yes, there is a difference between the two. At least in my mind there is. So what is structure and arrangement? The two words, they're used interchangeably, and it's absolutely fine for this to happen, as their definitions, they aren't really set in stone. A lot of people use them the same way. But I like to look at them as two separate things. I like to look at arrangement as instrumentation, what plays on what. So, for example, your bass line plays with the bass sound, or your pluck, your chord progression plays on a pluck. That's arrangement and instrumentation. And in its classical definition, that's really what it was. And you can sort of picture arrangement in a vertical sense. For example, in your DAW, it's the tracks and what instruments are placed on them. So, you could even argue that it's part of composition. Now, in this course, we're not going to be looking at arrangement that closely. We're more going to be looking at structure. And structure, I sort of view it as the horizontal aspect. So the time scale, what plays when, where's the verse, where's the chorus, how does the verse transition into the chorus, and so on. So like I said, we're mainly going to be focusing on structure in this course, but arrangement will naturally come into the picture as we progress. So we know what structure is, but why is it needed? Structure is necessary, and music wouldn't exist as it does today without it. But why is it needed? The first reason is because it creates familiarity. And there's a reason why top 40 music is so popular. It's because it follows a very similar formula. And people like things that sound familiar, even if they can't put their finger on what exactly is familiar to them. Now, the second reason is that it creates flow. Now, structure must exist in order for the song, or a song, to sound logical and flow well. It also keeps the listener entertained. If the listener is expecting a chorus to come up, then they'll keep listening. If the song has no discernible structure and is all over the place, they'll get bored or end up confused. So either way, they won't keep listening if there's no structure. The fourth reason is that it creates tension and energy, which we're going to be looking at in great detail. This concept, is absolutely essential when it comes to making dance music. The listener must feel a change in energy in order to be moved by the track. And people dance when they feel energetic and lifted, which is why tension and energy is so fundamentally important in dance music. Tension and energy also create a sense of expectation. And finally, it's an inherent element of all music. It's been around for centuries. Structure is just, you can't take it out of the picture and create music at the same time. So we know why structure is needed, but what does good structure look like? What does it include? One thing it includes is expectation or tension, and I've sort of already touched on this, but the listener needs to know where the track's going. They need to know that it's progressing in some form or another. It also includes repetition, especially in dance music. So that might be a motif or a melody played early on in the song, as well as the middle or the end. But while it includes repetition, it also includes variation. So this could be a variation in melody, rhythm, or simply a variation in a transitional effect. As well as those two, it also includes progression. So this, it's similar to tension in a sense, where it creates expectation and causes the track to evolve over time. And finally, good structure includes momentum. Good structure should have periods of high energy that create momentum, and momentum directly translates to the energy of your track and keeps the listener entertained. So structure is in all forms of music, as we know, but how does structure in dance music differ from other music? Now the fact is, it doesn't really differ that much. However, there is a heavier focus on tension and energy. Mainly because your goal when making dance music is to make people dance, and tension and energy make people dance, as well as rhythm. You can also get away with having longer and more repetitive tracks. Psytrance, for example, just to put it out there, is very long often and very repetitive. And there's also more focus on rhythm in the structure compared to melody and harmony. While melody and harmony are very important, they are not as important as rhythm in dance music. Now this does sort of fall into the area of composition, but I thought I'd point that out. Alright, so that is structure and arrangement. Just a basic overview of what they are, especially what structure is and what it looks like. So in the next video, we're going to cover phrasing. It's a very simple video, so if you know that most dance music is phrased in 8 to 16 bars and all that kind of stuff, then you don't need to watch it. But if you're new to production, then it might help you. So I'll see you then.